Well, our next speaker, in fact, is in the field of environmental sustainability for 25 years or more, in fact, and she's also established sustainability as a central focus of the airline's corporate strategy. We, in fact, have with us Carrie Harris, Director of Sustainability, British Airways, and we're about to gather a global case study on harnessing business innovation for climate solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, let our applause also take a little bit of a flight over there. Let's accelerate it. Let's have a round of applause. Please help me welcome Carrie Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Let me start with my first test, which is to see if I can move the slide on. It has moved on here, but not yet here, so hopefully it'll follow soon. So, for me, really, I'm delighted to be here for two main reasons. As you've just heard, I've been working in aviation sustainability for 27 years now, and I'm truly passionate about the transition of whole economies and especially applying business as a force for good in society. Particularly passionate about applying that to kind of climate initiatives and to reducing climate impact of business activities, but also, and pertinent for the topic of today, is about how we can also apply business to drive social purpose and change for good in that context as well. So we have it there. So basically, just to introduce, first of all, I want to give you a little bit of context about how we're addressing this in British Airways. So, we're very clear. We understand that as an airline, we have a large carbon footprint, and aviation is one of the hard to decarbonize sectors. So while we have solutions now, it's going to take decades for those to come fully to scale. However, in British Airways, we have been working on sustainability and climate and community action for well over 2 decades. And we're really proud of the fact that we've taken a global leadership position on this. We were the first airline to report our carbon footprint back in 1992. And we've been championing the use and purchasing and innovating sustainable aviation fuel and driving that program for more than 12 years already. In 2019, we were the first airline globally to set a target of achieving net zero CO2 emissions by 2050 or sooner. And we remain deeply committed to that. And that's what I want to share with you today, is our progress and how we're going to get to that by 2050. As you just heard there, what we've done in British Airways is really integrate sustainability and our climate mission into the heart of our sustainability and business strategy. And to give a flavour of that, last year we undertook a transformation programme across our whole business. This is every part of our business. It's a £7 billion investment programme over 3 years. That's $9 billion in 3 years. That's transforming our customer experience, our in-flight experience, our aircraft, but also it's our sustainability programme fully integrated. So sustainability is one of our top 5 business priorities. We have sustainability and green-linked loans. It's integral to our financial planning, and it's integral to our business transformation program, as I just said. So to give you a flavour of some of the successes that we've already had, and the conversation today really is about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They're set to 2030, and what I want to share with you now really is the focus on what British Airways is doing in the next 5 years as we come up to that key milestone of 2030. So I'm just now going to share a short video with you to illustrate some of the progress that we've been making so far.
We recognise that flying comes at a cost, and we need to take urgent action to tackle the impact it has on our planet. That's why we're on a journey to a better, more sustainable future. A journey we call BA Better World. In 2019, we set out our flight path to net zero, working across 3 key areas to address the big challenge of decarbonising aviation. We're improving efficiency through investing in new aircraft, changing how we fly, and in time introducing new, low-emissions aircraft. We're also investing in sustainable aviation fuels known as SAF, which are defined in the ReFuelEU aviation regulation as aviation fuels which are either synthetic, bio, or recycled carbon aviation fuels. A major challenge is that SAF availability remains low globally and today accounts for just over 1% of our total fuel use. But we expect that we'll meet about 50% of our fuel needs through SAF by 2050. For the remaining emissions where we can't reduce them ourselves, we're investing in robust carbon reductions and removals in other sectors. We've been making progress against each of these areas since the launch of our goal. We've achieved a 10% cut in carbon intensity since 2019 through a variety of initiatives across our operation. We used 5 times more SAF in 2023 compared to 2022, taking us to just over 1% of our total fuel supply. We invested in new technologies, building the world's first purpose-built SAF plants with LanzaJet to help us reach the UK government's mandated target of 10% SAF use by 2030. We launched a first-of-a-kind partnership with Curate, Undo and Standard Chartered to demonstrate a new approach to financing and developing carbon removals projects. Now, as we approach the halfway point in the first of our 3 decades to meet our net zero goal, we're firmly focused on what we will deliver in the short term by 2030. We're focusing on 4 new areas of action. We're engaging our colleagues to take action and contribute to our sustainability journey, setting a new internal goal to deliver emissions reductions across our business operations by 2030. To transform our business, we're establishing the teams, tools and systems needed to embed a culture of sustainability across BA, including new sustainability apprenticeships and new specialist roles for pilots and airport operations. We've also launched a new colleague sustainability learning program in collaboration with leading climate consultancy Futerra. We're increasing the usage of sustainable aviation fuels, continuing to scale our use of SAF, including purchasing more second-generation SAF from LanzaJet and purchasing third-generation power-to-liquid eSAF from 12. We're building a portfolio of innovative carbon removals projects, recognizing the urgent need to scale carbon removals to meet global climate goals. We're acting as an early buyer to stimulate the carbon removals market, encouraging policy support to scale new carbon removals projects. We're directing millions of pounds into a portfolio of innovative carbon removals credits with market maker Curate. We're also purchasing certified carbon removals credits from leading direct air capture companies, Climeworks and 1.5. And we're underpinning all of this through new partnerships to help deliver and accelerate change. We're partnering with the Earthshot Prize to help find, deploy, and scale innovative environmental solutions. We're also working with our startup accelerator Hangar 51 to identify innovative startups around the world. And we're working with Crowdfunder on our BA Better World Community Fund to support UK-based climate projects. We know there's not a moment to lose. It's action today that counts. Welcome on board our most important journey yet. BA Better World.
So I hope what that video illustrated was really some of the action we're taking now. And I also wanted to highlight that this year we're actually celebrating 100 years of operating between the UK and India. And we have a big group of people from British Airways here this week in Delhi to celebrate this event. So I think it's very poignant that we look at the progress that we're taking here. And just that film really highlights, if I mention a few key points. So the sustainable aviation fuel made there from recycled carbon, either first, second or third generation. And we're now operating about 2% of that. So all of our flights now have about 2% of sustainable aviation fuel. And we're aiming to get to 10% by 2030. Some of our ground vehicles already, we've got over 900 pieces of equipment airside at Heathrow, and all of these now are either electric or operating on hydrogenated vegetable oil fuel. And then just as you heard there, our carbon removals portfolio, absolutely vital for how we will get to net zero. But given our centenary celebrations with India, I want to really highlight some of the activities and how our carbon campaign and our carbon strategy is actually integrated, and we're relying on some projects that are taking place in India. So for our carbon removals portfolio, some of the carbon credits that we're purchasing are from Carboneers, a biochar company in India supporting sustainable farming initiatives, and also others, like you heard, the Bumitra, who's one of the Earthshot Prize winners. So just a couple of examples. And if I move on now to look at also our community element. So our sustainability strategy covers three main parts: people, planet, and responsible business. I've touched mainly on the planet now, but on responsible business and our community programme, we've also got very strong links with India. Our long-standing partnership with Flying Start and Comic Relief has been active now for well over a decade, and we've now raised over £29 million for projects all around the world. Two of these I'd like to highlight are also operating here in Delhi. And Butterflies is one of the projects here that we support, helping work with children who are on the streets, giving them key life skills to help them move out of poverty, and Slum Soccer that you can see here on the right. These are just some examples of what we're doing, how we're applying that. In addition to this, we're also working with the DEC and through our BA Better World Community Fund to help give directly to both projects that are helping communities, but also acting on climate. And I think that's a massive opportunity of where these programs can come together. So before I close, I have a couple of final points I'd like to make. When we look at, I've mentioned our kind of 100 years of operating to India. And I think the examples that I've shown show how much we will rely on technology to give us the solutions to help deal with the climate challenge that we have as an airline. The key point, though, is that while we know that technology is absolutely vital, and also the action up to 2030 is vital, it isn't in the end technology that fixes climate. In fact, it is people. It's people like us in this room who have the opportunity to drive change by taking brave and bold decisions. And I have been sitting listening to the discussions here today, and I'm so encouraged and feel so positive about the journey that India is on. And when I see it, and I see some really strong parallels between the path that British Airways is trying to achieve and what India is doing. For us, we call our journey BA Better World. We say this is just the beginning, and it truly is our most important journey ever. And we really feel like for India, it's exciting to see that you have a very similar journey ahead. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share some of our work with you, and congratulations on all that you're doing too. Thank you very much.